Hey guys, I'm Wanda and I have Jen from JM at the Nut House and Mike, her husband, and today we're going to be talking about this little beauty right here. She is my Moringa expert. Did I say that right, Moringa?
Moringa.
If there's more than one, it's
Moringas. There's not a moose and a meese. It's all moose.
Okay, so we just got Moringas. So she's going to walk Mike through winterizing it, but we want to know a little bit about what is Moringa.
Moringa oleifera. That's what this tree is. I initially started my adventure in Moringa because I have arthritis. Mike has arthritis, and we wanted to have something that wasn't going to be drugs or something to help with inflammation, and that's how we came across this and started taking the powder form, and then discovered that we could grow it where we live. And then further reading and research led us into more information on protein, how high it was in proteins, how high the amino acid content, vitamin C, manganese, all kinds of just wonderful health benefits and nutritionally sound. They're using it in a lot of developing countries to help combat starvation. So there's a lot of information out on the internet that you can go in and read about it. To this date, there are no side effects or medical interactions with medications, which is really nice.
And it's good for animals.
It's excellent for animals. They're trying to get it on for animal fodder. Can't get to that point commercially because animal food is more regulated than human food.
Go figure.
So, I know, right? But it's wonderful. I mean, it takes virtually no attention.
You don't have to do anything to it.
It's really easy to grow. Yeah, throw the seeds in the ground. Make sure the soil is warm. It's extremely drought tolerant. It'll grow prolifically. It can grow up to 15 feet in a year.
Yeah, my last year mine was like 12, 15 feet.
Yeah, so it'll grow just from a seed. Now, if you overwater them, they kind of get stunted. They don't like to be overwatered. It's a long taproot, and when Mike gets this dug up, we'll see how your root's doing. This one has a pretty good base for being this young. So we're gonna cut it off here, and then this one's a little bigger than about as big as my thumb. So we're going to experiment, cut it off at an angle right here, and try and root this one so that Wanda can have a jump start on next spring's trees.
And then I have the small one over there that we're just digging up.
Which is about this big around. It's kind of small, so we're not gonna hack that one back like this one, but we're gonna cut this one off so that we get a bushy plant instead of a tall plant.
That's what I was
thinking. It gets a little bit higher like this, and we can't quite get to the branches.
Okay, so what zones does this grow in well?
This is a desert kind of plant, Philippines it grows really well. It's growing really well in Mexico. It's growing exceptionally well in Africa. There's different varieties of this, but warm, dry climates. So anybody who lives in the southern part of the United States, it should grow just fine.
Now, how does it winter outside?
So if you're going to keep it, you want to keep these for the winter, and what we're going to do for you, because you do get
freezing
periods of 30s and 40s. We're going to take it, dig it up. The taproot, as long as it stays alive and it doesn't freeze, you'll be able to take that taproot and put it right back in the ground, and it'll pop up again in the spring once it gets warm again. So it will overwinter in the greenhouse.
Yes. And anybody that's in a tropical type, it should winter in the ground.
Yep, ours winter in the ground where we are in Southern California. They overwinter there. So if you're going to do that, somebody who's in a moderate winter risk climate, if you heavily mulch around the root area, cut it back, heavily mulch around it, as long as the taproot doesn't freeze, you should be fine.
I think what happened to mine last year was we have wet. This stays wet. We had a wet winter.
And they don't like wet
And they don't like wet.
They don't like wet feet.
And
so
then it froze.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened. Mine stayed too wet, and then
you want to make sure that you have well-drained soil.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't keep the water. Yeah, this does get, well, you've got a lot of great mulch and then composted stuff, eggshells and great things in here to feed them. So, and it's not a heavy feeder plant either, which is fabulous because it'll take all the minerals and stuff out of the ground, and that's what you get in your leaf. And you can eat the leaves just like this. It's also called the horseradish tree, so it's a little bit spicy, but you get
I like it. This is what I do. I walk by and grab some every and just eat. I don't take it in a powder or anything like that, but I eat it fresh.
Dry your leaves, and if you can't stomach this, then you can dry it and put it in a powder. We take the leaves, strip them off, put them in the about a couple of leaves in the blender with a couple of water, blend it up, and then add a little bit of lemon and honey, and excellent electrolyte.
Okay, so tell Mike what to do.
Mike's gonna pull the mulch back around this root, and then we're gonna dig straight down so we don't damage our roots.
He's dug these up before, hasn't he?
He's a professional digger.
Moringa digger.
Uh-huh.
Not for hire.
He's the muscle behind this project.
Not much room to work either.
The nice thing about this, because the moringa is predominantly a taproot, it has some little feeder roots out there, so you're not worried about cutting off the roots and killing the tree. Alright, see? Now this is going to show you, we can get some of the sand off. Awesome, it's all twisty and twirly, but you can see these little feeder roots. You don't have a whole bunch of other root. You have just primarily a taproot.
It's a nice root.
This is a fabulous root. You got worms in here, which means it's great. So even if you took this root and cut these off and left it, as long as the root itself didn't freeze, not being in a soil, like if you set it on the counter there in the greenhouse, as long as this didn't freeze, you could take this root and just replant it in the ground next spring.
Wow.
So we've seen them left out for as long as 3 years. As long as they didn't get dried out, then they'll
So how far would you cut it up if you were going to do that?
This one,
if you were going to let it,
root,
yeah,
I would cut it off and leave at least a foot of it because it'll still draw some of the nutrients.
That's
from
if
here,
you
but
were
you're
drying it.
Right. That's if you were just going to take the root and not want to keep it in soil for the year, for the winter time.
Okay, so if you're going to put it in the bucket, we're going on up with
We're
it.
we're gonna put some soil in there so it will continue to grow, because of your greenhouse and the where you live here, you may still get some leaf. So we're gonna take
we do.
these leaves
It
off.
blooms in the greenhouse.
Yeah. So you still have the option, because of your warm climate, to be able to still get leaves and stuff throughout the season. So
Yeah, it keeps
typically
it
it goes into dormancy when it gets a little bit colder, around October, November in most places. And then it'll come out again around April. So we're going to take this. This is a fabulous taproot. So yeah, see how it's put off this shoot off this other part of the root. And then it'll grow little ones more when it's ready to come out in the springtime. You'll see little red nodes on here, and those are what are going to grow off new branches.
Okay.
And we want this, so we're going to cut this guy off. We'll leave probably about here, leave a nice long, and then you'll get a bunch of branches off of this, and we're going to leave this one just like this. Because it's skinnier, I like to have them at least as big as around as my thumb. So I'll cut that off. When you cut it, you want to cut it at an angle too, so that it doesn't have any water or anything set up on the top of it. And this one we can take, and if you want to, because it's cut at an angle, we'll put this in there and just put it in some soil. It should root. If you had willow,
we have willow
bark, you could use it as a rooting hormone, smash it up in the water and whatever to water the tree. That helps with rooting as well.
Okay, so we're in the greenhouse and Jen is rearranging the dirt.
Knocking stuff over.
Rearranging the dirt in the pot so that we have room to get this moringa.
This is good, well-draining soil, so this will be nice, and it's still a little bit moist. So that's a good thing. We're gonna leave this little guy. And you want to bury it about back up to where it was before, similar to how you do when you plant other trees. You don't want to bury it
higher than it was. Yeah.
Right. With this one that we cut off, we're going to just take this and stick it in the ground how it's cut at the angle. It'll start putting out little hair roots, if you will, and then this will grow into your root ball.
Wow.
Your tap root. And just shove it down in there. 7 or 8 inches. And stick it there. And the soil's already moist. We don't want it to be too wet, so it's perfect. It doesn't need to be watered or anything because it's nice and it's got plenty of moisture in it.
So how often do you water these now?
Just like this, you don't want to. You want it to not stick together clumpy. It's got enough that it sort of sticks together, and this is nice loamy soil, so it's going to be well draining. They don't like to be overwatered or they'll turn all yellow and stuff. So
he's photobombing you.
He always does that. So, but now, I mean, you can take these off because typically, you know, some things they go through like a transplant shock. So we'd want to take these off, and we can put these in our meals over the next couple of days, or add it to a smoothie, or make a moringa rice, or you know,
take off as many as you need.
Yeah. So you just, I mean, right here when you take these off, it snaps right off nice and clean right there. And then when you're going to use these, grab it right here and it pulls right off. And that's how you just go through these and put these in your moringa water, your smoothie, throw it in. Pesto, moringa pesto. If you have your favorite pesto recipe, use this with it. It's amazing. And that'll give you some extra nutrients as well. So,
okay guys, so that's a little bit on the moringa tree. If you have any questions, you can talk to this one, Jen, JM at the Nut House.
I am on the Deep South Gathering Place Facebook page too.
Yes.
So if you want to message me, send a note. Hey Jen, what's up?
How do you use moringa? How do you plant it? What do you do with it? Can you grow it from seed? You answered that. It grows really fast from seed too.
It grows really fast from seed, and that's another one of those wonderful benefits, is that it's one of those almost set and forget. Once you get it going, it's so easy to grow.
And if you would like some seeds, I have a limited number of seeds right now. So check our Etsy store. And she brought us just a few. We're going to get them to as many people as want them.
We'll have more at the gathering as well. We're going to go ahead and start some more plants, so we'll have some good ones for the gathering for that in the spring.
We're fixing to
Stone
start
County
them.
Fairgrounds.
Yeah, we're fixing to start the moringas this week, hopefully, and have them ready so that in March they'll be what, 4 or 5 months old.
They should be. I mean, they should be pretty decent size. We'll do them in the long pots again that way because the greenhouse is a perfect climate for it. So
yeah, they grew well.
Yeah,
and fast.
And when we didn't plant them, we're getting a
month
jump start.
before.
Yeah, we're getting a jump start this year on them, so they should be way more established by the time the gathering rolls around in March.
Yeah, because they were only like a month old last time.
Yeah.
So we're going to have them 3 to 4 months old. So if you have any questions, ask Jen. And you guys, we'll talk to you later.